everybody knows about Rowan. He's a complete gentleman, and that all works on that level. And that's very encouraging.
In a film that he's headlining, if you put him in it, you know you're going to go out and do really decent business.
He's absolutely unique as a performer.
It's really hard not to laugh, and yeah, he's a great person. I really like him.
When I was maybe 15 or 16, my dad used to bring me back the tapes of Bean. It doesn't exist in France at this period, and I was really mad about it.
I remember very well seeing those Blackadder's and just loving Rowan and thinking how brilliant he was. So you get a little titillated to think that you're going to be working in the same movie with him.
He's been at it a pretty long time, and all of that time he's been working on making people laugh, and he's very serious about it.
No.
I first met him and saw him work in the early 80s, and I was mesmerised by his stage work because he was one of those performers who could literally go on stage and nothing would happen, and you would be completely entranced, roaring with laughter, but you didn't know what he was doing. You had no idea what the hell he was doing. He would just stand there and he would make you laugh.
He appears to be made out of several degrees of rubber, and yet you do see the character behind everything. It's not for its own sake.
I was amazed the first time I saw him for rehearsals. It was like this elegant gentleman, English guy, really elegant, really kind and nice, and then when we just started to rehearse, just his face was changing, his body was changing, the whole character was appearing. It was really like two people in one, you know.
It's extraordinary because when we were rehearsing, obviously you sort of get to know him more as Rowan, and then the sort of move into Mr. Bean, I was less used to it, and suddenly seeing him in costume was quite a shock. You know, there he was doing it, and it's a complete change. It's a complete takeover by a personality. It's incredibly impressive.
A kind of ease comes over him, which is wonderful, you know, and because that's what we all want.
I haven't found it difficult after the passage of time in finding him again and understanding him and knowing how he would behave in any given situation. I think I'm pretty familiar, but I still find the business of shooting and acting him quite stressful. It's the very singular nature of the character and the fact that he is at the centre of the film. I mean, obviously, but I mean, to be in virtually every shot of every day of the shooting is, I find, quite challenging.
I think he's lost about a stone while we've been shooting, actually, and he certainly commented the other day that he was tireder than he'd ever been at the end of a shoot because it was very physically exacting on him.
We need to have gears so that I can alter the relationship between the pedal speed and the wheel speed.
He's very meticulous, he really works details. He's a real stickler about, of course, about timing. So he's always on himself and he's always on other people too, because, you know, it's all really hung on this Bean character. And although there's a world that he enters into, and I'm part of that world, the tone of the film and obviously the whole feeling of the film comes from that character he knows so well.
He has a very high quality threshold. He won't go out to work on something unless he's pretty sure of the content and all the rest of it. And then when you're actually shooting, he has a very, very high quality threshold. And I actually think in this movie he's given one of the better performances that I've seen. It was good. Simon had spent a lot of time working it out of him in rehearsal, and actually then Steve picked up that baton very much in terms of directing on the set.
Why don't I try quickly?
I should come in and then get back.
Okay. It means I'll get out on the roadside.
Yeah.
The reality of working with Rowan is that he is very tough on himself, and he's very tough about playing a very fine equation, I think, between highly considered action and the desire for that to feel completely spontaneous. And that illusion is something that is hard to achieve, and something that is well worth trying to achieve.
He'll remember the takes as well, so that when he's in the cutting room, you know, he'll say, you know, I'm pretty sure in the 6th one I did this at this point, and in the 10th one I did this at this point, and all the rest of it. And so, you know, it's just It's the same old thing. It's the attention to detail.
For me, it's like a Charlie Chaplin, you know. I'm really happy to look at him working and improvising, and he's so amazing, really. He's really, really amazing. He's really a great actor.
I learned a lot from him. It's a great chance to learn a lot. It's a great experience.
If there was one quality which I would say characterises Rowan's uniqueness, it is the quality of his imagination as a performer. He suddenly sees a way of reacting to something which is nobody else might see, just because he's in the situation, he's in the character, and he then starts to play with it. He's constantly playing and inventing.
There's very few people who are prepared to do pratfalls and bump into lampposts and all the rest of it, and Rowan's never too proud to do that.
He is a perfectionist. He's scrupulous, and in almost every frame is perhaps the funniest man I've ever worked with.
Gracias.